So should I
Yes, thank you very much for joining the career session part 2 organized by CUETians in Australia. We are going to kick off the session. Our session will be hosted by Dr. Mahabub Iman. Now I am inviting Dr. Mahabub Iman to host the program formally and carry forward. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Shabu Bhai. Good afternoon. Mahbubur Rahman. I'm working as a committee member here in Twitter in Australia as a vice president. Uh, as a regular function, we were actually planning to arrange some of the career session. It's a bit different kind of things. It's like not like the traditional career session. So here, for last couple of season, we were trying to give more specific idea about in some specific career region. In these consequences, this career session part 2 will be covering IT networking, web development, and HVAC, as well as like a facilities management. So before kicking off this session, I would like to say something about this session to our president, Dr. Niyaz Bhai, to say something and start this session. Please, Niyaz Bhai, over to you.
Thank you, Mahbub. Thank you very much. I am Niyaz Sheikh. I'm the president of CUETians in Australia. On behalf of the members of CUETians in Australia, I welcome you all in CUETians in Australia Career Session 2. This is an ongoing activity for us as we will arrange a series of presentations, and today's presentation is the second in the series. I'm delighted to inform you that we have 4 high-profile presenters in this session. They all are successful in their respective fields. However, they all started as many of us are starting our career right now. They also face challenges as many of us are facing currently to get a proper career or to progress through our career as we expect. Their tips and suggestions and their experience would be extremely valuable and important for us to learn, and getting their advice would be immensely beneficial for us. Let me welcome our presenters, Engineer Shumaya Tamjid, Engineer Hassan Arman, Engineer Muhammad Rezaul Karim, and Engineer Abul Hussein. With this, I'll hand over to our host, Mahbub. But once again, thank you and welcome in CUETians in Australia Career Session Part 2. It's over to you, Mahbub. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Niyaz Bhai, for your nice introduction and a detailed presentation of the presenters. So I will not consume much time from my side as everyone is waiting for the presenters to present and say something from their experience. So I would like to give a brief overview how this session will be progressed. So at the very beginning, we will start with the network, the IT section, which will covering the network engineering, and followed by the web development. So there will be come up as there will be a 2 presenter. Niyaj Bhai is Engineer Hassan Arman Bhai, and Engineer Sumaya Apu will be like covering those IT side, networking, and the web development side. And after that, the Reza Bhai will be coming up with his experience and show will be presenting about the HVAC thing, and followed by Abul Hussein's Bhai's so facilities management. So this is the consequences, and within this presentation of time, you can give your questions in the chat group and in the Facebook Live. We are on the Facebook Live as well, so you can post your question. We'll pick the key question from there, and we will try to answer those. The presenter will be try to answer those questions within this period of time. And after that, there will be a question and answer Q&A session. And if you have more detailed question and if you want to know something more about it, you can join in that question and Q&A session after this presentation. So from this side, I don't want to take much more time. I would like to invite Hassan Arman Bhai to introduce himself and start his presentation with the network engineering. Please, Hassan Arman Bhai, come forward, please. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mahabub. Guys, can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you all. I'd like to start with my gratitude to all CUETians, as well as the committee member and President Niyaz Sheikh Bhai, and General Secretary, and everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you are doing all good. Today's career session, I'm going to cover about the network engineering. Basically, one of the field in the IT industry. Uh, Before going into the presentation or slide, let me introduce myself. I'm Hassan Arman. I have completed, so I'm EEE Electrical 94 batch, completed bachelor in end of 2000 and started my career in 2001. So almost 20 years in my career. I have worked in many areas in IT. So I'm specialized in network engineering and network security. So this is my specialization. Other than that, I have worked many other areas in IT. So I'll try to share my experience. I have gone through my career. Uh, Let me try share my presentation. Please confirm if you can see it. Let me know if you can see my screen.
We can see
Yeah,
it.
I can see the screen. Thank you.
Okay, just give me a sec. Let me go to the presentation mode. Okay, so before going into the network engineering roles, let me give you a brief idea how why I have chosen this as a profession. So my as a student when I was in at that time BIT. At that time we had a couple of subjects in especially in telecommunication and computer. If you all remember, we had a subject called Fortran 77 programming language that was in second semester that gave us a back some idea about the programming, even though that was a very primitive language at that time, but that gave us some idea, knowledge about the computer programming, followed by when in sixth semester we had another subject called digital technique, where we have learned about the different logic. If you, I don't know, have you had chance to or get that subject at that time? So that was about the binary number, hexadecimal number, AND gate, OR gate, NAND gate, NOR gate, and flip flop. All these logics and techniques about the digital. And followed by in seventh semester we had a subject called microprocessor, and then in eighth semester is a telecommunication. So these are the some background knowledge or courses that I had before moving into the IT or network engineering. Back in 2001, I have started my career in Chittagong Stock Exchange. At that time, Chittagong Stock Exchange, one of the few companies had an e-commerce site that was running over the over the WAN connection in different cities in Bangladesh, including Chittagong, Sylhet, Dhaka, and Rajshahi at a time. So there are not many companies have been offering that e-commerce site for trading. And that gave us opportunity to build my career as a network engineer. Over there, I have played a couple of other roles as well. I'll try to give some example from my own professional career, but let me go through the slides quickly. So what is the network engineering and what do the network engineering engineer do? So network engineer, basically it's a technology field, and it's a very demanding since 2001. Still I'm seeing it's still very high growth and demanding job in the market. In 2001 we had a couple of senior colleagues from BUET and even from the BIT. So I had another senior colleagues who was from 90 batch. So he was my senior, and he was one of my earlier, you can say, the mentor who helped me to grow up my career. So I followed his initial instruction, initial guidelines, and I took him as a mentor. I also have seen many other seniors there from majority of them either Kuwait or Rajshahi BIT, Khulna BIT. At that time, it was BIT. That's why I'm saying it's BIT. So they have helped me to come to this particular career. Now, what do the network engineer do? So basically, who do we call the network engineer? So network engineer is the guy who build and maintain transport network for reliable data connectivity. Back in 2000, as I give an example, back in 2000, when Chittagong Stock Exchange were needed multi-sites or e-commerce site to run over multi-city or multi areas at a time for expanding their business. Chittagong is a very small market. The amount of the customer that they had at that time was not sufficient, so they had to cover the more areas. So that's why they have built a reliable data network over the. At that time we have been using different types of carrier, and since then still this network engineer or network engineering field is evolving. At that time we were using the VSET, and back in my study, back in my earliest stage, we were using the VSET as a transport network at that time. Now this is got changed. So why I'm saying is the technology have changed. However, the carrier, the job that we are doing, that have not changed. At that, in 2001, we have been using the dial-up technology for going to the access or using the internet access. Now we are using fiber to the home or fiber to the premises, a different kind of technology. So the technology have changed, but the demand for the data, reliable data network, still there, and it will grow up. Now, the network engineer mainly build that transport network. The responsibility of the network engineer to build that transport network. So who is the network engineer? The person who is responsible for build this reliable data network or transport network is the network engineer. Apart from build that transport network, they need to maintain this, they need to enhance this, they need to expand the network based on the technology. So the technology keeps on changing. So what do the network engineer do, or what's their primary responsibility, or what kind of responsibility do they do? So as I mentioned, the plan, build, and maintain the network for any organization. It could be very small. So Chittagong Stock Exchange, that my first job, compared to the current world, current scenario, that's very small. It's about, at that time we had about 100 employees, and then we had about 100 brokers in different cities and different regions in Bangladesh. But now, in my current role, I'm working in Mastercard as a network manager, and we have more than 2,000 service delivery point across the globe. It could be in Africa, it could be in Asia. We have a service delivery point, some remote country like Laos, Cambodia, where the transport network, build the transport network is not easy or quite challenging. But as a network engineer, that we are doing, we are using different kind of technology to build those network backbone over there. So the role of the network engineer or responsibility of the network engineer is to build and maintain that network or transport network reliably. So reliability is one of the issue, and another challenging part in recent or current scenario, which was not there in 2001, is the security. So once you build the reliable data network, you need to, a network engineer also ensure the data integrity. The data that passes through the network, that need to ensure the integrity of the data. it's not tempered, it's not manipulated. That's another roles of network engineer. And we have seen due to the recent COVID outbreak and pandemic, the demand for the network engineer or reliable transport network have exponentially have grown. The person who was using maybe some maybe 5 Mbps or 10 Mbps bandwidth, they have upgraded. I'm talking about the home user bandwidth. They are using now maybe 40, 50 Mbps bandwidth at their home. Again, if I give an example with my career, in 2001, when I started in Chittagong Stock Exchange, at that time they were using 64 kbps VSAT bandwidth. So that's how it's been evolved from 64 kbps bandwidth to maybe 50 mbps bandwidth at our home. So demand for the bandwidth or demand from the reliable carrier have grown. That's why it's a very, very attractive or very the demand for this role, it's growing and it will continue to grow. What we don't focus as a network engineer, what technology or how we are doing this. So I mean, what technology are we using? Technology could be changing day by day. However, the main objective of the network engineer doesn't change regardless whatever carrier, whatever technology that we're using. Is it a 2G, 3G, VSAT, fiber optic, or submarine cable? Regardless of that, still the network engineer role is to build the reliable data network. Now, in network engineer, we have many other, we can call these in a various name. Sometimes we call these a network specialist. Sometimes we call these network technician. We have network analyst. Sometimes we call that network NOC, network monitoring. NOC means network monitoring center. So some people work in the network monitoring center. People work in the data center. Some people work as a security specialist. Some people work in the wireless. Some people also work specifically in the telecommunication. So back in 2005 and onwards, so there were demand for telecommunication, and so GSM technology and the other, they were different. Nowadays, all of them are IP backbone. Also, basically, underlying technology is the same, even with the telecommunication network. Even though it's slightly different with the signaling and other stuff, but underlying backbone, still it's IP backbone and network engineering. So that's there is a demand in the telecommunication, especially other mobile networks as well. Now, apart from our regular, so that now back in 2000, when I have completed my bachelor degree, since then in 2020 or 2021, the CUET or BIT have changed their curriculum a lot. Nowadays, the people, my fellow CUETians who are completing their graduation from there, they have many other courses, including I know one of my a couple of my batchmates, they are, at the moment, I think majority of them are now professor. So professor, department, head of the department. So we know there's some the major carrier the major vendor or operator, they have their own lab in Chittagong CUET, including Cisco. There is an exam facility for the different courses, and also there is a updated lab to do or learn the new technologies over there, test them, and for the research facility as well. So things have changed a lot. So that's why I'm mentioning this here, because I have not mentioned. So the qualification in the mention, I did not mention anything about the any university degree or any TEFE. So some people do the TEFE, some people doing masters or even the bachelor degree here again. So I'm assuming whatever the bachelor or master's degree we already have, that should be sufficient for us if we want to switch to our career to as a network engineer. What we need is we need to enhance our existing knowledge and have to tune a little bit. We don't need a major changes in our whatever we have learned in our university. So that should be, whatever we have learned in our university, eh, that should be enough to switch our career or start our career in network engineering. We just need some basics about the TCP/IP, service management, some LAN WAN technology that's already there. I think it's already is in the curriculum at the moment. Most important part is the hands-on. So we need to have the whoever is thinking or switching their want to switch their career in as a network engineer, they need to have or they should have some idea or some experience in the hands-on whatever they are doing. Is it the routing, switching, firewall, should be enough. And they need to have some industry certificates. Why we need the certificates? Let me explain this. So in my career, I have worked in the Chittagong Stock Exchange for 5 years, in Banglalink as a network engineer, as well as I was working as a network manager as well. So altogether 5 years over there, sorry, 8 years. So 13 years in career in Bangladesh. And there I have done many certifications. So what helps certification help is that helps you to build your or understand the whatever the technology that is available in the market. Also standardization, whatever the technology that we used in Bangladesh, same technology that we are using in Australia as well. My colleagues, my fellow CUETians, as well as my friends, whoever working in the other part of the world, maybe in US, maybe in UK and any other country, they are also using the same technology. So that's why it's it's easier to switch or easier to progress your career regardless where you are working. It doesn't make much of a difference. If we compare with the other discipline, uh, say someone, for example, have completed their graduation, maybe, so I'm just taking an example, accounting in from uh, Bangladesh. Whenever they come here, it's become very difficult for them to continue their career in the same path, same area, a banker. It takes them some time for them to get used to this environment, get used to. However, if they are working in IT or network engineer over there, coming here and getting used to or getting a job here shouldn't take that long. That's our experience. That's what I have seen. So the team that I had in Banglalink, majority of them have moved out either in Australia or Canada or in New Zealand. And all of them, none of them had to wait more than 30 days to get a job. So that's why I'm saying it's the same standard, same technology, same thing. Only we are just changing the place one from Bangladesh to whatever or wherever we are moving. It could be Canada, it could be New Zealand, it could be UK, it could be Belgium. So many people are all over the world. They are using the same thing again and again. So also, if we want to gather our further training or knowledge, anything, we can get it. So for hands-on, we can use the virtual lab, GNS3. For Cisco online course, Cisco have many lesson and training program. There is a firewall called Palo Alto, which is very popular at the moment, and many organizations are using this Palo Alto firewall. There is a free courses available with the Palo Alto. There are free courses available with the Checkpoint, VMware, one of the courses. Uh, there are many courses available. So it's important to know the background, why VMware, if you know the VMware, the server, how the underlying other components works, that it becomes easier for you to work in this industry. I have mentioned a couple of other like the SD-WAN, NSX. These are the newer technology coming up in in future. So any questions here?
Hassan,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. So actually, I just like interrupting just to remind you that and to remind all the presenters that we have a little bit time constraint. Just a gentle reminder. So
Sure.
yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Sure. I'll be finishing maybe in next couple of minutes, and then yeah, if we have any question or any other thing, or anything, any suggestion, advice, or question, we can take it later. So
yeah, we can take it later, and and we can start with the web development with the Sumayapu straight away after your presentation.
Sure.
Yep. Thank you.
So with the network engineering role, especially in Australia, what are the job opportunities we can think of? So network engineering job opportunities, I have mentioned that the banks, financial institute like the NAB, Combank, MasterCard, Visa, all the financial institute, they need to have their own data or infrastructure in Australia. This is a regulatory requirement. Regardless, many services from Australia have been outsourced to the outside the country, but the financial data, they cannot be outsourced. They need to retain, they need to maintain in Australia. So due to the regulatory requirement, there is a high demand for this job. I know many of my friends work for Westpac, they work for the Combank. So there is a huge opportunity. Also, there is opportunity like Telstra, Optus, TPG, NBN. You can find everywhere, you will see that at least one or two people working. They are from the TPG. One or two. I'm saying one or two because I don't know many CUETians. Maybe the recent. Who are passing the recently, they are coming to this organization. I am not aware of, but at least you'll find few people, all of them, Optus, Telstra, and NBN, TPG, and we have many other service provider, INET, you'll see there. So there is a high demand over there. Also, social media. If you think about the Google, Facebook, Amazon, Azure, regardless, all these big giants, tech giants, underlying transport is the network. Without the network, their technology will not work. So they need to have the very, very highly skilled and reliable data network. And that's why they need the network engineer. Managed service company, there are many managed service companies or many organizations running their business in terms of managed service. For example, Dulux, Repco, these are the smaller branches and offices. They don't have their IT company. However, they are outsourcing their service to managed service, and those managed services company is running the show. Telstra also have the managed service as well. So they have a high demand for the network engineer. And also, if you think about the news media channel, TV channel, ABC, channel 7, or any other channels in TV channels that you think of, underlying technology is the backbone is built by the network engineer. All the live demonstration, all the presentation that you're seeing, they have the IT backbone running, the transport network running as an underlying technology, and they need the network engineer. All federal government, and local government department, they have their network backbone built, and network engineer is the one. So there is a high demand for this role and for this career. There are a couple of other, many other opportunities in the IT as well. If you want to have a look at these, what would be the remuneration, what would be the rewards, have a look at the SIG and go through the what are the profiles needed, or what are the skills and knowledge needed. My suggestion would be, don't focus. If you are new to the role, don't focus on everything. Focus on one particular area. Take someone as a mentor and try or start your career in this area, in this field. You don't have to do too many things at a time. Just target on one particular area. Maybe you want to do, maybe build only, say for example, wireless. You want to learn about the wireless. So there is a demand for high skilled wireless network engineer as well. There is a demand for routing and switching engineer. There is a demand for, so all these areas that we target one particular area and then start your career in these. And we have many people in this area. You can take one of them in the, so especially from the CUET or whatever, I mean, discipline you can talk about. It could be from the CUET, it could be from any other universities, it could be someone from the BUET as well. So I have, in my career, I have followed someone from the BUET, and he was working in the Cisco. He gave me a guideline, he gave me some ideas, thoughts, and then that helped me my career. Other job opportunities in the IT, say for example, I have worked in the, so especially I have worked in the server administration. I never worked in the database, but the database is another area someone can think of. There is an opportunity in the IT help desk and IT support, telephony, data analyst or data analytics, web development, API, all these. There is an opportunity, security and compliance and audit, IT security compliance audit. This is a major area as well. Someone just want to follow a guideline, don't want to be very technical, they can go to the security and compliance. IT process management, service delivery, again, this is not a technical job. This is more sort of a guideline or following the process. So this is the service management and service delivery, but you need to know the underlying process and underlying technology in the IT. Facilities management, Abu Nusain will be coming up with some presentation with these and with these facilities management. This is one of the topic that he will be going to cover here. About me, as I mentioned, I have worked 5 years in Chittagong Stock Exchange, 8 years in MasterCard, and last 7 years I've been working as 8 years in Banglalink, and last 7 years network manager in MasterCard. Should you want to take anything, you want to know anything about the network engineer, or anyone keen to pick my brain about this network engineer role, if you want to switch your career, or if you want to start your career in the network engineering field, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. Any questions, any queries, any guidelines, I'd be more than happy. With that, I'll finish my presentation. I'll hand this over to Sumaya for next part of the presentation that would be on the web development.
Thank you, Hassan Arman Bhai. I just wanted to double check if everyone can hear me.
Yep.
Yeah,
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I will share my screen. Hassan Arman Bhai, if you can stop
sharing, please, Hassan Bhai.
Yep.
Yep. It's all right.
So everyone can see my screen, my presentation?
Yeah, I can see it.
Hi. So I would like to start where Hassan Arman Bhai said a very key point, that is a transferable skill. So in IT job, we have a very good advantage that our skills are transferable. So I remember when we started our programming language course, we were making joke that we learn Bangla grammar, we learn English grammar. Now we have to learn another language. I think that learning another language, coming back to Australia, saved us, a lot of us, that we learned that language. We don't have to worry about our English speaking skill or Bangla speaking skill. That language saved a lot of us. So I will start. I created my presentation around my journey of starting IT job in Australia. When I came to Australia, I really didn't have any real experience. I started fresh, and I would like to take you all through the journey, how I secured my job. So if I go, so first of all, where do we look for our jobs? These are the Seek, LinkedIn, Gumtree, Career One. These are the common pages everyone goes. I would like to add a little bit of my tips on that. When we search as a fresher or a switching career, sometimes we are not that confident. So in my case, I was not that confident. So when I avoided recruiter, because recruiter wanted someone who is very skilled, who is polished, and I didn't have that skill at that time. So I avoided recruiter. I avoided Seek to some extent. If I go to Seek, I didn't have LinkedIn at that time. If I went to Seek, I looked for private advertiser, not someone from recruiter. I heavily relied on Gumtree. I like Gumtree because I scored my first job through Gumtree. Gumtree is a place where job advertiser try to find someone somewhat skilled, but get a person who can pay a little bit less than market rate. So that's where I get my first job, because I didn't have real industry experience at that time. Nowadays, lots of Facebook local pages post job. Facebook has new job portal as well. You can go for those ones as well. So this is little tips on my job search. Now, how did I presented my skill? So what I did when I applied for jobs, I shortlisted the job areas I wanted to go for. So web development, I chose web development because to create a portfolio in web development, you don't need real lab environment or real life scenario. You can recreate the scenario on your own. So when I started web development, I created website by myself. I learned programming language. I do tweak. I learn a little bit of graphic designing. Very little, not like huge amount, but I created like lab on my own lab in my laptop. So that's a thing. If you don't have like a lot of real life experience, this is something you can create your own. You can create 5, 6, 7 websites without any real good investment. So it's very easy to create your portfolio in web development. And so that's how I first shortlisted the job and find out key criteria those jobs wanted. And I found, I pinpointed those key criteria, like what are the skills I have and what I need to acquire to do my first job. So I learned few programming language, learned some extra skill to match my shortlisted job. One of the key is the soft skill. To prepare myself for interview scenario, all my soft skill I try to put in a real life perspective. Teamwork in my family environment, work autonomously in my daily life, things like that. I try to create example, and I always told myself in my head, okay, I'm applying this soft skill in this scenario. You're applying that soft skill, communication skill, attention to detail, those soft skills I applied in my everyday life. So when interview comes, I can tell, okay, in confidence that I have those skills in me. Another one is a technical skills. So so that I think I already covered that. I highlighted what skills I have already, because we all graduated from a very reputed university, and we do have some skill. We have to earn that, own that, and believe that we do have some skill. We have to highlight those skill and learn few more skill to secure our next job. So when I highlighted my skill, I learned management, I learned economics, those simple things I included. Software development life cycle. My course skill I highlighted, and then I added some new skill that I learned from YouTube, other learning portal. Same, preparing for interview, shortlist question according to skills. So what does that mean? When you shortlist your job category, say for example, web development, you find out what are the key skills they are looking for, and what are the interview question those key skill have. No interviewer like invent their interview skill. They goes to website, they use their everyday, like day-to-day job life to create those interview skills. You can find them online. So shortlist those questions, harness those, like practice those questions, harness those questions, create template for those questions, some like all of them technical or soft skill. Create template for those skills and practice. Everyone knows practice in front of, I didn't practice in front of mirror. I just practice talking loud so that you can hear how you sound. Some people do recording and this listen back, and then recording and listen back. So these are the key skill, in some way you can prepare your interview skill. Now I quickly wanted to show you how when I say that job, create shortlist your skills. So this is one job I just found last week in SEEK. This is a job advertisement for a web development. See, about you, they want to see dedicated to constantly improving your skill. See, this is a soft skill. Have a passion for working with technology, another soft skill. Have a degree or certificate in IT and preferably around software or web development. You already have it. If you don't, if you're coming from another discipline, quickly get a online course or certification. I don't think that's very necessary, but if you want to do it to have your confidence, you can have that as well. Good written verbal communication skill, another soft skill. And then comes knowledge of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. So first technical skills comes after four soft skill. Knowledge of SQL and relational database, MySQL preferable, another technical skill. Then working with other developers for plan and implement solution, customer problem, another soft skill. Leveraging cloud technology to scale your solution to a national audience. It's a kind of mix of soft skill and technical skill. Contribute meaningfully to the direction and development industry leading product, another soft skill. Job 2, what you will do, typical day, your new role you will see maintain content and website system. It's technical, simple bug fixing, replying to next level 1 support. So there are few technical skills here, but you will see they have like not very in-depth skill they are requiring. These are all the jobs here are all entry-level jobs. So they are not looking for someone in-depth knowledge. See, they say working knowledge of PHP, CSS, HTML, JS. So don't worry about knowing something very in-depth. It's just if you have some knowledge, you will be able to get your first job in web development. So if you go job 3, same, there's MySQL, JavaScript, PHP framework, responsive web design. So these are the key technical skills that 3 jobs have. From here, I summarize, there are few key skills they are looking for in a web development role, entry level. Knowledge of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. So these are the 4 languages you need to know a little bit and little bit confidently to have your first job. Knowledge of SQL or relational database, just one database. Content management, preferably WordPress. So if you know WordPress, you will get a job in Australia. So definitely you will get a job in Australia. So it's very easy to learn WordPress, to some WordPress website, and you will be able to know Like it's not easy. There are lots of YouTube video. You don't even have to do any course. Photoshop, just very little bit of Photoshop. We know all these nowadays. Phone have all those Photoshop skills, reshaping, brightening, changes. These kind of skills we all have in our mobile these days. Good communication skill with both verbal and written. Okay, this is where we struggle. At least I struggle. I still struggle. For this, you have to practice at least for the interview first few days, when you have all the CVs written in a nice way, no spelling mistake, and all your interview question with a good written script, you will be able to overcome this constraint. Genuine passion. You have to have this. So this is something that got me through. When I didn't have any experience, I was like struggling with my kids, like what do I do? Only genuine passion got me through everything. I told myself I have to do it. I have to do it. I know how to do it. I make myself know how to do it. Now, supplementary skill, when you have those key skill, few skill you can put in your resume, Git or version control. Quick YouTube video, you will find how to do that. You can create your own lab, 1 or 2 PHP framework, CSS, Bootstrap, JS, SEO. So you can add these. These are very self-explanatory. When you go to web development, you can have front end, back end, these days, digital marketing. Even start your job as someone who posts Facebook post. A lot of company want someone who look after their social media network. So secure something like that. Get into the industry, learn your skill, and you will be able to, with little bit of hard work, you will be able to secure your job. That's all from me. I will hand over to Mahbub.
Thank you, Sumaya Apu, for your nice and very detailed presentation. I think it will help a lot, especially the language, because lots of people will be struggling that everyone knows about these things, but they don't know that how to start with that. Even like sometimes I start with the Google search, it's come up with so many bunch of language, then which one is good for the front end, back end. So yeah, if anyone try to,
I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, so thank you, Sumaya Apu and Hassan Arman Bhai, for your very good, very nice and detailed and elaborative presentation. We will not lose any time from my side. I would like to invite the next presenter, Reza Bhai. Just before we start the next presentation, I would like to remind all the presenters, please, we actually have a time constraint, and please accept my apology for that. I know these subjects are pretty much detailed. It's really hard to say all of the things within this period of time, but definitely I would like to encourage the compact and the gist summary in the presentation time. Probably if we have enough extra time for the Q&A session, if we need to explain something, if we want to ask something, because we know we already have a couple of questions we want to answer on that. So if we have something, we'll go on that in the Q&A session. So I would like to invite Reza Bhai for his presentation.
Thank you, Mahbub. I'm going to share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see
it.
Yes.
So I'll try to finish as soon as possible because we're running we have time constraint. So in the content, this is the content. Sorry, I think I need to go to the presentation mode. Full screen. So I'll not go through the details of what I do or how I do it. It will not be finished in 2 weeks time, probably, the presentation. So, and I'll try to be generalized format discussion so that other trades also, other disciplines like civil or electrical also get interested about what scopes they have in building service. So scopes in building service is not only for mechanical. If you are a mechanical engineer, you can do HVAC, air conditioning, ventilation. This is the discipline I'm doing now, HVAC, air conditioning, and mechanical ventilation. And mechanical engineers does fire sprinklers also. And I put slash, just notice that one, I put slash, HVAC or fire sprinkler or lift escalator or refrigeration. Refrigeration is the probably you see in the Coles and Woolworths or some cool rooms in like in the butcher shops, there is a refrigeration. So it's hard to do multidiscipline. So if someone working in the HVAC industry, he doesn't usually do the other trades. Either you do HVAC or fire sprinkler or lift escalator or refrigeration. But if you're an electrical engineer, don't be disappointed. You also have a scope in building service industry. Just notice that in electrical, I put comma. So to all the so they does all these things. I saw that electrical engineer does power in buildings, building and building lighting, data communication, automation, drive, fire detection, protection, security, and alarm system. And there's another trade is plumbing. It is cold water supply and hot water supply, gas and the sewerage system. This one is more for the civil engineer, but I saw the mechanical engineer also does. So in major 3 disciplines, civil, electrical, mechanical, have a scope in building service industry. Why I work in building service industry? What is the motivation actually? Building service industry, I have every day I have engineering application. Like every day I deal with engineering calculation, deal with drawings, deal with construction issues, solve the construction issues, and deal with many technical parameters like temperature, pressure, humidity, all this and sound level, fitting everything within the building structure. So it is very interesting. So it gives me actually mental satisfaction that purely I am doing an engineering job. Like I worked in the product development company for 5 years, but I could not find much engineering application or calculation in that company. But building service industry is the industry that I got a lot of engineering application. So it gives me peace of mind that I'm doing some real engineering jobs and gives me fulfillment. And another good thing is that it's transferable skill. It's if I want to work in currently I'm working in a contractor company. If I want to switch to a consultant company, the same skill they need that in the consultant company. Even if I want to work in the USA or Middle East or even Bangladesh, it is also I can transfer that skill, because the basic concept of HVAC design is pretty much same. Only the difference will be the building codes and probably some equipments will be different because of the climate of the region. And that there's a business opportunity in building service industry. If someone working full time, he can do part-time business also. All he need is just a laptop and an ABN or business registration, and he can do home-based business. But to go up to there, they need a couple of years experience actually what need to be done. And all the jobs can be sourced from the tender websites or from the architects. You can get business contract from the architects or from the tender websites. And another good thing is that for building service industry, it's a major industry. It's a lifeline of the Australian economy. After mining, I think this is one of the major industry, and the government will never let it collapse. So government puts incentive whenever it's a downtime like pandemic we saw last year. So it gives you a peace of mind that it is a bit recession proof. So you can feel safe that you will not have any problem with your job security. Despite all these good things, there is some downside, is that it is always challenging. You can imagine it's a construction industry. It's a million dollar industry. So if some mistake happens, it can cost the company to fix that one even $500,000 or 1 million or something more than that. So it is a bit stressful. And by the time goes, if you get more skill, more experience, then more challenging and more value projects and more critical projects will be on your shoulder. So it is always challenging. But if you don't, you will be accustomed to handle this challenge. So everything will not be put on your shoulder. The company will give you the resources, and there is a checklist to check the mistakes or QA system so that the risk is minimized. So don't be scared of the challenge. Another thing is the downside is that it's a lifelong learning. So because every year codes and standards, Australian standards and national construction codes change, or new technology comes in the market, new products launch in the market. So you need to be always updated with all these things. So it is a lifelong learning, but I love to learn new things. So it's not a problem for me. As a building service engineer, you can work in consultant company or in a contractor company. And in the consultant company, there's a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and in the contractor company, also tier 1, 2, 3 level. Actually, tier 1 is the national player. They're like whole Australia, where they have office or something like GHD, Ecom, Northrop, or if you're the contractor, Fred on BSA or Climatech. I advise if someone new, then he start from the tier 3 level. Tier 3 is the local small contractor company or consultant company. It's easy to get job into the tier 3 company. Then when you get some experience, then jump in tier 2, then jump into tier 1 company. So it's in that way, it is easy. And as in HVAC industry, you can work, if you are in the targeting in a consulting company, you can work is basically in a design role, graduate engineer or senior design engineer. And if you are in a contractor company, you can work in a project engineer, design estimator, project manager, or doctor role. And the next slide, the skills you require to work in a building service engineering. If someone want to work in a building service industry, he need to, regardless it's electrical, civil, or mechanical, he need to have knowledge on Australian standard and National Construction Code. National Construction Code is there is 2 volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. They are like more than 1,000 pages. Don't be scared of the number of pages. It's for everyone, for civil, electrical, and mechanical. For civil, electrical, and mechanical. So you only have your relevant, you need to know only the relevant pages of your National Construction Code. And Australian standard, there is also some relevant section you need to comply. And also you need to learn the engineering calculation. Say, for example, for load calculation, you need to be familiar with the camel calculation, and also duct sizing, pipe sizing, or if you're electrical, the wire sizing. You need to know all this calculation. And all this relevant development material can be provided. Say, for example, for HVAC industry, I can provide the relevant this calculation, example calculation, or Australian standard and National Construction Code. Also, you need to learn the knowledge. You need to have knowledge on different types of HVAC system and equipment. Say, for example, an air conditioning system can be chill water system, heating hot water system, water cool package, water cool VRV, air cool VRV. There's many types of system. So if you want to work in this industry, you need to have the knowledge of different types of system and different equipments, which equipment used in which system. And also you need to be able to develop the concept design markup. So this is can be a hand markup or Bluebeam markup. So you need to be able to design your markup. And also you need to understand HVAC drawings. You need to understand the components or the symbols or everything. As I mentioned, it's all these resources, knowledge can be provided by me. But it's just some bullet points I have included, five bullet points in here about the knowledge. But it's not that easy actually. To get all this skill for a mechanical engineer, you need to invest at least 1 year time. Every day, if you spend 2 hours. And if you're electrical engineer, time is half, because electrical trade is easy. And hydraulic also roughly like 6 months time you need to invest. And if someone interested to do course, then there's a course in ERA, which provide professional diploma in building service HVAC course. This course is online. You don't need to go to the classroom. It's a 100 hours course, and it costs roughly $6,500. And it's many CUETians are doing this course. And but if you don't want to spend the money, you get the resource from me, and you can be self-learn. Tips to get professional jobs. Actually, every man is unique. Everyone have their own choice. I request if you are a new graduate in Australia, you don't pick a job, you pick a career. Because Don't let money to motivate you. If you work for money soon, and you will be losing few years time, valuable time, and you'll be coming for looking for fulfillment, where you will looking for your dream job. So look for your dream passion and interest. And say, for example, if you want to be an artist, you need to learn, you need to know that you want to be an artist, you're not a player. So know yourself, what you want to do there, because there is so many specialization in mechanical discipline. So everyone is unique, everyone have a different choice. So know your interest. The next one is the most important part, is the get yourself skilled. Before you get skilled, you need to collect the resource. Say, for example, if you want to be an artist, you need to know how to paint, or if you want to be a player, you need to go to the coaching. So collect the resource from us. If you want to get into the building service in HVAC, collect the resource from us, learn the resource at home, and during the learning, getting the skilled, many distraction will come to you. So you have to, like, probably your wife will be watching nataks in or your kids will be watching YouTube. So many, and friends will be asking for you to come to barbecue or socializing. Many distractions around us actually. So try to avoid all these distractions. And by the time you getting skilled, learning these resources, another thing will come in your mind. It will be very challenging. It will be very challenging. You'll be thinking that the job will be very challenging. So, but keep in mind, the challenge actually is an opportunity to learn and grow. Challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. If there is no challenge, then life will be boring actually. And try to do teamwork. We do, instead of single effort, try to do teamwork. And teamwork will make your task easy. And next step is hunting for job. When you do hunting for job, please, I request, consider relocation. I saw that people don't want to move their locality. So, say, for example, Sydney people don't want to go to the Melbourne people don't want to the Canberra, but probably your the job you're looking for, the job you'll be fit probably in the Northern Territory. But if you don't take that job in the Northern Territory, you will be losing few valuable times. I saw that Australian graduates graduating from Australia, UNSW, they start their career from Tasmania. Now, if I say any CUETians to go to the Tasmania, he will be looking at to me probably surprisingly that where are you asking me to go, in the jungle? And so please consider relocation. And when you're hunting for job, don't only look at the seek.com. There is go to the direct company website, and in the career section, current job I'm working in Crest Air Conditioning, that job was not in seek.com. That was in their website, in their company website. And another good resource that is LinkedIn. Many jobs don't come in the market actually. The job I was doing before I was in Canberra, the job I was doing in Canberra was not in Seek, not in the website. I just text the company director that I'm looking for job in HVAC industry. They hired me just from my expression interest. So this is another tip. If you're ready to start a career, when you get skilled, then go to the LinkedIn and search for the company directors, not any other engineers or other junior employees or hiring manager. You can text only the hiring manager or directors that you are looking for job. And another thing is that CPD is continuing professional development. Regardless you getting job or don't getting the job, you need to continue the professional learning. So you need to, if you love your job, love your career, you need to continue to learn and develop yourself. So regardless if you get the job, still you need to learn and develop yourself. After hunting, when you get a job interview, before go to the job interview, my advice, try to know the work culture. Do you fit in the work culture? Try to do this research. You will know the work culture from the LinkedIn, from the LinkedIn, you can find out about the people's working in that company that you're going for interview, and try to know if there is any graduate engineer working there, or all those are tradies. If there is all the Aussies, or there's a multicultural environment, and try to know yourself. Are you comfortable to work in an Aussie environment or in a multicultural environment? Are you comfortable to work with tradies, or you comfortable with the engineers or Asian engineers? So try to know the work culture and try to know if you fit in this work culture. And another thing is that check employee review before go to the interview. What they say about is it a good place or is it a shit place to work in there? Is there any career progression? Is there any training? Is there any support? How is the management? And also in the interview, try to evaluate your boss. What type of person he is? Will he be doing micromanagement? Because I saw people working in 20 years industry, they lost the job. Not only for, it's only the reason is that he had bad relation with his boss. So try to know why this position was created, who was in this position, why he left the job. Was there any bad relation between the boss and the employee who left the job? Try to know this in interview, or somehow try to know that one. Because if you leave the job and go to that company and the boss is not good, probably after a few months, you have to again start looking for a job. So before jumping into a company, try in the interview, try to understand your boss, the psychology of your boss. And in the interview, try to sell your skill. Don't just answer the question they ask. Just sell your what you know. So drive the interview process. And so just tell what skill you bringing into this company, what do you want from the company, what is your expectation after 5 years, all these things. And when it comes about the money, my advice, don't disclose your salary, because often they in the interview they push for how much you're getting. Oh, you're getting X amount, okay, we give 5,000 more from that one. So that's why don't disclose your own salary in the interview. And rather than that, you ask how much is your budget range of the salary in the interview, and you ask for the higher range. Never agree with the lower range, because most of the time they say, oh, you start the job in the 3 months time, we'll review your salary, or 6 months time. They never review their salary. Even the increment also in Australia, I saw whatever the company, it's not good. Unless you show them another offer letter from another company, then they start to negotiate with you. So always go for the higher range, whatever the range says about the salary. So that's it from my side. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much, Reza Bhai, for your tricks and tips over the career. I think it will help the new career seeker and the old one as well. So we are actually running out of time. So at this moment, I would like to invite our Shabu Bhai for his presentation as a facilities management. Please carry with you one. Just before starting that one, I would like to remind everyone that if you want to have any question, please write down in the chat box or in the live session. We will go after those questions and try to answer as elaborate as possible. Please, Shabu Bhai, up to you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahbubon. I want to double check. Can you see my screen and can you hear me loud and clear?
Yep. Loud and clear from my side.
Thank you very much. I think our audience are quite happy with the presentation the other presenter already delivered, and I believe you have got a lot of information. Or are you getting bored, or are you getting tired? If you are thinking like this, I am the person, I will get you wake up. So let's start with my presentation. Welcome to my presentation on behalf of CUETians in Australia. I will cover facility management. I will not go for the details about myself. If you are interested after my presentation, I will describe myself in the later on the presentation. So before starting my presentation, I want to acknowledge the traditional custodian of this country. We respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodian of the land which on we live, work, conduct our business, and we acknowledge their continuing culture and spiritual connection to the country. We pay our respect to their elder past and present and emerging. I believe this is our responsibility, and on behalf of our today's session, I am just acknowledging the traditional custodian of this country. If you see the globally crisis what we are going through, the COVID-19, we are quite fortunate. We can say that we are living in a lovely country where COVID is not that much affecting us, our life as well. So let's begin my presentation. In the presentation, I will cover why the facility management, why you should choose it, why should you go for the facility management. Then basic of the facility management, role and opportunities in the facility management, skill preferred for the facility management, and I will show some one model resume for the facility management facility engineer should have, and some interview tips as well. So first of all, why the facility management? And I would like to say, and why should you actually listen to me? Because I am the one of the person that playing a role in the same field in Australia, what I have been practicing in back in overseas more than 12 years. So how it's happening, I will explain one by one in my throughout the presentation. So this is very unique field around the globe. This field is available everywhere in the world, and unlimited job opportunity open for the both technical and non-technical. I would like to say again, both technical and non-technical. So even it's applicable for your spouse or which are in the non-technical background. So just stay with me and just focus with me. I will explain how it's applicable with the both technical and non-technical. And it is very easy to map and transfer skill from other experience. And this is what I was saying in my beginning of my presentation. I have been practicing this field now around 15 years. So, but I am Australia in only around 4 years, but how I am practicing this around 15 years. So this is what I am saying. What I have been doing overseas, actually same thing what I am doing right now. That means the skill or the practice what I have been doing overseas is the same in here, maybe different name. So it's actually global. This is what I am saying. This is why I am saying it's a global and unique opportunity. It's available in everywhere, and easy to access in the top ranking company, top high ranking company. If you see, is consider about the AWS, you consider about the Google, you consider about the Microsoft Azure and Equinix as well. So these are the giant and high tech and top ranking company around the world. So in this field, you can go to this, you can get the jobs and a very attractive job in this company by going through this topic. Another very attractive thing is the salary. So salary is everything, you know, and what we are doing and what we are delivering in our professional life, we are doing everything for our salary, and it actually help our life very easy. So if you just see the graph what I am showing in the here, almost more than 75% people in this field are earning more than 82,000 per year. So if you just look at this graph, that means according to the recent data, the most top 20% Australian professional are getting salary around 80% people, 80,000 K per year. So if you are in the facility field, that means you are in the top 20% category in the Australia. So it's happening in the all around the world, not only in the Australia, because this role and this field is very unique, and this field is very important for in every service and every sort of company. So here I would like to just quickly go through the what is facility management. So facility management is a professional management discipline focused on the efficient and effective delivery of a support service for the organization. So it can be a building management, it can be a space management, it can be a technical equipment management such as data center, security management, production means, and environment management, energy management, and maintenance program as well. So it covers not only the just management, it also engineering, asset management, contractor and vendor management, contract administration, and life cycle, so life safety management. So this kind of management actually can be done by both technical person and non-technical person. In some case, the technical field, you need the very specific technical skill that you cannot, where the other non-technical person cannot fit. But this is specified in the technical facility management. But in the other facility management, such as corporate facility management and building service facility management, just non-technical person and non-technical background people can come easily and fit their skill here. And here I would like to just describe some very common role in the facility management. Facility management, you can act as a technical facility management. That's what I am doing, where you need a very specific technical skill. Suppose in the technical facility management, you are managing the critical environments such as data center, satellite operation, or telco core operation. So in this field, you need to have a very specific technical skill. And for the facility manager, this role, you don't need to have the technical role, technical skill, but you need to know very little about the technical thing. And as well as the facility engineer also available. The role is also there, and the facility coordinator, facility supervisor. These are also not the technical role. So all the non-technical background can perform this facility coordinator, facility supervisor in the facility manager as well. But for the technical facility manager as well as the facility engineer, you need to have the technical role, technical background as well. So, and here are the few companies that I have mentioned here: JLL, CBRE, Cushman, Workman, Compass, BGIS, Sodexo. So these are the facility management giant around the globe. They are everywhere in the world. And if you see the JLL, you will get JLL everywhere: America, Europe, Latin America, Australia, and everywhere. So these are the company, they are hiring the facility manager and facility coordinator, facility engineer, and facility supervisor, this kind of role. So here I am just including some basic skill that facility in this field you need to have. So core technical knowledge is especially for the technical role, and business writing skill, presentation skill, ability to lead and manage the team and project, decision making, analytical and problem solving skill. So these are the skills. If you see, all the people can have this skill, especially who are in the certain level of education, maybe completing the bachelor degree or master degree. So everyone can get this skill very easily. So they can transfer to their skill to the facility management easily as well, but not for the maybe the technical role, suppose the technical facility manager or facility engineer. And other preferred rules, these are not mandatory, but if you have it, will add your value as well. So suppose the very basic white card, fast aid, CPR, permit issuer, and working at height and confined space, operation and facility management, industry diploma, project management skill, and IT skill. These courses, most of the cases are very expensive. You don't need to have it. Sometimes whenever the company hire you, and they actually manage by themselves to make it available for you. So you don't need to have this skill as a mandatory, but the basic skill you need to have, where you have to be very good presenter, you have to be very good in the technical writing, because you need to deal with a lot of people, lot of vendor, lot of contractor, lot of multicultural people. You need to write a business skill, you need to get the financial approval for the management. So you need to be very skillful in the business writing and business case writing as well. Here I am just putting an example advertisement in the SEEK. So if you see the requirement in this role, facility coordinator roles, so what they mentioned, maintain the CMMSS system, that means computerized maintenance management system, all the preventative maintenance, and assist with the management subcontractor and the document maintenance process, first point contact for the provider. And if you see the all other description they are requiring, this is very basic, and this can be gained by the any people who have the certain level of education. So you can be fit this role. This is not the technical role at all. So this is the facility coordinator role. So you can come this field and get a very lucrative salary and lucrative standard life in Australia and anywhere in the world as well. Here I am including a very simple one sample resume that can be fit for the facility engineer as well as facility manager. Here you can start with your picture, but this is not mandatory. And in the very beginning, the profile you can you think with your just 1 or 2 lines about yourself, and then you can include the skill and competency you have. And before that, whenever you are writing preparing a CV, just one thing keep in your mind, CV will be as per the job and role requirement. Every CV will be as per the job and role requirement, and you need to prepare CV for all the roles separately. You may not, you cannot explain or you can include all your skill in the CV, whatever actually not required in the role. So you will fit everything, whatever required for this role. So whatever skill and competency certification, whatever you are including should be goes with the role requirement. Otherwise, it will not be helpful for the recruiting. And then after your certification, then you can include the job description or job achievement that you have in your previous role one by one. And another thing I want to mention, you can include your logo of your previous company in the CV. That will help you to make the CV more visible to the hirer or the hiring manager as well as the HR people. So it always helps to attract the people to get the CV in shortlisted. And some few interview tips that I want to mention. In the bottom of my slide, if you see the LinkedIn, I will prefer the LinkedIn in the first place for the professional development and professional life as well. So first of all, I want to say if your LinkedIn profile always updated and professional. So because I want to add one example. So I have come to Australia sometime in the mid of the 2017. But before coming to the Australia, I have started interviewing with the Australian employer, and which was the #1 employer in around the world, not in the Australia. #1 employer at that time. I got the opportunity to get interviewed with them before coming to the Australia. It's happened only because of the LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn profile, you don't think that your employer is not seeing your LinkedIn profile. Whenever you are applying any job, if you are shortlisted, whether you are shortlisted or not, always employer watching you in the LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn profile will be your ultimate reflection of your professional life, professional achievement, and whatever you are doing. You can include all the achievement in the LinkedIn profile, but you don't need to include everything in your resume. Your resume only fit whatever the role requirement. So I would like to prefer everything. I would like to actually request you all guys to spend your most of the time in the LinkedIn profile rather than using spending your time in the social media and other thing. And make sure it is always another very important thing to make sure to call the employer or the whoever doing the advertisement to make sure give him a call after submitting the interview and try to sell yourself for this role. This is a very good tips. I think it helps me a lot. Whenever I send the interview, usually I got the automatic reply. But whenever I send the interview, I make the call, it gets a more importance to the employer with my expression. And don't say straight away no, because it doesn't help sometime in the Australia. And review submitted resume and prepare question before going to the interview. And positive attitude, feel you are in the role always and ready to do everything for the role. And practice the mock interview must before going to the main interview. That's it. So what do you think? Is it quite interesting? Is it a new field to you? Now I am happy to talk with you.
So very interesting. Very interesting. Before today, I didn't know about it at all. And it looks like a very promising. Thank you, Abul Hussain Shabu Bhai, for your nice presentation, and which is really an eye-opening thing. It's like with this Shabu Bhai's presentation, we are nearly just finishing in our first stage of our this session, and after that we will go for the question and answer session. So like while Shabu was like presenting his things, suddenly one thing just came up my mind. So I had a chat with probably it's like a year and 2 years ago. I just want to add my experience with that. I had a chat with one of the employer, and like there was like saying when they go for any kind of job recruitment kind of things, they usually get more than hundreds of CVs sometimes, but they don't have enough time to like go through all the CVs. So in most of the cases, on even some of the recruiters, they use their like filtering system, which actually go through all the CV, and they actually look for some of the keywords they're looking for their next role. So if they got those keywords, this is totally an automated process. It's like a AI. It's like a time for AI. Those filtering process actually look for that keyword in those CVs. So when they got those keywords in that CVs, they just passed from the through their filtering system. Then the other CV, they got what's called the auto-generated email, which is like, we actually sorry to say that you are not qualified. Is actually sometimes these kinds of email not even coming from any of the recruiting person as well, is the machine, which is the computer. They actually go with the keyword thing. They just like find the things and which is actually matching with their requirement. They're passing those things, and others they keep rejecting. There's a reason we have like a complaint that like oh, I have just like posted my CV to more than 100 jobs, still I'm not getting any kinds of requirements, any reply. So it can be a good tips for that. I'm just sharing my experience, what I got like answer from any of the recruiters. So from today's session, we came to know that there will be lots of key things. Just like from the networking, we came to know some of the courses and like a vendors kind of thing. From Shawai's explanation, we got some of the key term they are looking for. From Reservoirs, we got like some sort of skill set we know, and everyone was talking about the customizing their CVs for the specific job. So that was a really a great presentation from all of you guys. It's like it was really good presentation, and hopefully all the audience was like enjoyed that one. So it's really important to mention that like this is a recorded Zoom session, and this Zoom session will be available later from the websites and from our group as well. And like if you have any question, you can ask to us as well, and like our presenter panels will be really happy to help you as well. Now I'm opening the question and answer discussion session. You can go for that one from here. So if you have any question, just you can write down in the Zoom session or in our Facebook Live session. I'll be happy to pass those questions to our panel session. So we already have one question from Farnaz Begum Apu. I'm just probably this question is to Arman Bhai. Arman Bhai, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so it's like we already have one question to you. The question is that, hi Arman Bhai, could you please speak about the network engineering career in Australia if anyone wants to fresh start after doing CCNP?
CCNP, this is a mid-level certification. It's not an entry level. So for the fresh start, CCNP would be, I mean, quite nice. If can someone have a CCNA, that should be enough for a fresh start as a network engineer. However, if can someone have the CCNP certification, that would be even better. And I can assure you that if you have a hands-on and very good knowledge and experience, so again, CCNP will require some sort of hands-on, whatever area you are covering up. So very soon you can progress your career to the mid-level. So it should be enough to start. Even I'm not saying it's a fresh start. It should be at a mid-level career with the CCNP certification.
Thank you, Hassan Urban Bhai, for your nice explanation. We are expecting some more questions. If you have any question, you can write down here, or you can ask us in our Facebook page as well. And like if you are looking for the recording of, as I said, like the recording will be available. If you want to, like, if you miss something from here, probably you will have a chance to go through the presentation. I believe this was a very good presentation from the respective field. Other people will be like able to learn a lot, the tips and tricks, especially if you want to switch your career.
So I have a question for Farha. Naz, do you have any other query about this question, or you are okay with the answer that I have provided? Or you need any other clarification?
Farah Nazapu, are you there?
She might be on the mute.
Yeah. And anyway, anyone else?
I think she already gave some of the questions. She actually writing. Hi Hassan Bhai, without real hands-on experience, it's incomplete.
So CCNP certification, it would be very difficult to have, I mean, even to complete the certification without hands-on experience. You will need to, regardless which area you are trying to cover, it could be routing switching, it could be service provider, or I don't know what other field you are trying to cover, but without hands-on, it won't be easy for you to get the certification done. So that's why I'm assuming that in order to have the certification, you need to have some hands-on experience. And I have provided one link, the GNS3, that's a virtual link, and you can do the labs, you can create your own environment, you can do all the hands-on with the routing, switching, firewall, all these things. That would be handy for you if you want to do kind of real life testing.
Okay. Also, she's also having like another question. It's like if anyone have questions, please feel free to ask. As so far we have only getting question from the Farhana Zapu. So there's the and like I have another question from the Tarek Monorbhai. So probably like I'm just going through these questions. If you have more questions, feel free to ask. Then I'll go through all this question. So there's another question is like the which certification are most preferred in networking or in the server side? The person have like a CCNA and RHCSA certification with 2 years of experience. So he's looking for a fresh start in Australia.
CCNA, again, CCNP. Cisco is a widely used networking vendor in this industry. So Cisco provided routing, switching, firewall. However, depending on the organization, some organization, they look for especially in Australia, if it is a small organization, they look for the people with the multi headed or multi-threaded. Maybe someone have some knowledge about the routing, switching, as well as firewall, or some server related experience, maybe VMware. So if you have the more knowledge or area you can cover, the more easier for you to expand or settle down in the industry. If you only have the knowledge with the, say, for example, routing and switching, you will be still, it's okay for the entry level or start your career, but you need to develop your skill vertically as well as horizontally. Horizontally, I'm saying that you need to have some idea about the other areas in the IT, for example, server, virtualization, firewall, all these things. You need to gather your skills and knowledge in that areas.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I have a question for Reza Bhai. I think it's Abdul Hussain Bhai wants to have some question to Reza Bhai. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mahbub. I would like to ask Reza Bhai, as a consultant and chartered engineer, do you provide complete solution and end-to-end solution for the HVAC? Suppose for the data center, I would like to upgrade my chiller system for current operation. Can you help me in this regard?
Yes, definitely. We do. You're talking about replacement of the chiller?
Yeah, most likely. Suppose maybe current cooling requirement is not enough from the chiller that we have, that I need to upgrade and replace the chiller.
Yes, definitely. We can give this support. Yes, we do. We actually DNC project. DNC is the design and C for construction. So we do design. Say for example, my role is for design, and with my design drawing, my project manager goes to site to construct as per my design. So we have complete solution, not only design, it's construction as well.
All right, as well as you deliver the chiller as well, right?
Yes, correct. Deliver the chiller, installation, and yes, commissioning, everything.
And do you have the maintenance team in place?
Yes, we have service team. So like the annual maintenance also we do for many facilities like the Woolworths, or it's a HVAC center or whatever. From whoever we get the contract, we do annual servicing also.
That's good. Thanks for the information. I think your company will be open for my next opportunity because as a facility manager, I do manage a lot of facilities. Suppose a lot of data centers, etc. operation. I do manage a lot of chillers as well. So sometimes we need to upgrade the chiller. We have a lot of opportunities. So maybe we can consider. I can propose.
That will be exciting. Yeah.
Thanks.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for answering that. I have another question for Reza Bhai. Probably after that, we'll go for another question for the Hassan Bhai as well. The question was from Tawhid Bhai, that does any specific courses you suggest for the design of HVAC?
Look, if you do the course, you get the certification, but you have to spend the money. That's all I want to say. The course is I recommend for AIRA, the professional diploma in professional HVAC design course. There's only one course in AIRA that I mentioned in my slide, but that course you have to pay like $6,500. That can be paid in installment. This is 100 hours course. Many of our CUETians are doing this course. If you do the course, I saw the course content is okay, good. And if you can take the pain of paying this money, you get the skills and you get the certification also, so that you can prove that you have a certification. But if you think it's too much, then first you get resource from me and start from there. And if you're confident and if you want to go ahead and spend the money, or then you can do it. So yeah, the professional diploma in HVAC design is the course.
Okay, thank you, Reza Bhai. I think Farah Apu is looking for Hassan Bhai's contact details. So yeah, definitely we'll have in touch and we'll provide the details probably later, because as Hassan Bhai is also member of the executive committee here, so he will be a good mentor and probably he'll be happy to help. Definitely, we'll be in touch with you later, Farah Apu. So. Does anyone have any question so that I can pass the question to okay, so we have another question. It's like from Ikramul Hussain. I would like to know about the conflict of interest in terms of industrial job as well as a academic job sector. If any conflict of interest happened, how I can manage it. I'm not sure who will be the right person to talk about it. If anyone wants to pick it up, so it's open to answer, anyone from any side.
I'm happy to give the suggestion. I'm not sure whether it would be right answer, but in Mastercard, when we do the conflict of interest, say for example, in my current role, what am I doing? Am I allowed to do any other work? So I need to declare it. So whatever do, say for example, I want to do another side job. I need to declare to my employer that I want to do that. And depending on the type of the job, my organization can allow me or disallow me to do the job. Say, for example, I want to do the Uber driver. They may not be allowing me to do that because it's related to the reputation of the company and a couple of other things it's involved here. So this is, however, if I want to do a job which is not, in terms of interest, it's not, if it is not conflicting, they definitely will not be preventing me or stopping me doing that. Also, they look for so Mastercard point of view, they look whether that's benefiting the society. So if that benefiting the society or community, they probably would encourage me rather than discourage. So that's how they look into it.
If you don't mind, I want to add something with this. Is it okay?
Sure, yeah, please go ahead.
All right, thanks for Ikram for a nice question. First of all, this is completely depend on the company. It varies company to company. Suppose every company have certain code of conduct. So whenever you join any company, you need to sign code of conduct and you need to read everything, whatever you should do or you should not do. suppose Arman Bhai has given an example for his company. In my company is a little bit different. So I can do anything beyond my work time, and they are we have to sign like this. Whenever my work time, duty time, I have to concentrate and I have to deliver everything within the time that I am committing for this company. So this is the normal trend. So it may vary to the other company. And another thing, whenever you get the offer letter from the company or any job, so it is also mentioned in there what's supposed to you do or what you cannot do. And for the academic section, I'm not quite sure. Maybe Niyaz Bhai or other people who are in the academic line can help in this.
Yeah, Niyaz Bhai, please.
Okay, thank you, Shabu. It depends in which role you are working. If you are as a working at well, if you are a PhD student, then I believe that university allows our PhD students or research students 20 hours, maximum 20 hours per week. Now, if you are an academic member, then that scenario is very different. So academic member can work like we do consultancy, but that consultancy should be through the university because we'll be spending university facilities, right? Technical officers or testing or simulation. Then if we need to use university facilities to do these kind of jobs, then really you need to go through the university. So there are arrangements for contract research, for consultancy. We all do this, and that has to be through the university. And university have certain criteria because there will be lawyers, there would be patents with the kind of testing or consultancy that we do. So there's a lot of arrangement, and university provides those services for our consultancy work and our contract research project. But research students and other students can work a maximum of 20 hours, as I recall, 20 hours per week. Yeah, I think, well, is it the if there is any specific question, then I'm happy to answer, but that's in general, the rule is.
Okay, thank you, Niyaz Bhai, for your explanation from the academic side as well. So we are getting really good questions from everywhere. So I would like to encourage the overseas participants who are actually joining this session from Bangladesh and anywhere in the world. Please feel free to ask any kind of questions, because as from the session, we know that we have some like a sector which has a global opportunity. Probably you can have some your global answer as well. So I have a question from the live session. It's coming from Dr. Ilyas Mullah. It's like the question is, can you please tell something to the fresh graduate who is looking for a job in Australia without any job experience? Probably it's an open question to any of the panel. Please come forward who wants to answer it.
Maybe I can try with the initial answering, maybe other expert can add something. First of all, as a fresh graduate engineer, you cannot come to Australia as a fresh graduate engineer. So as a professional, you need to be migrated, you need to have a certain kind of skill, experience as well. But as a student, you can come as a fresh graduate, then you need to work in, you can work in different sector actually. So you don't need to work, you don't have to work in the professional sector. There are a lot of opportunity in the Australia, especially in the retail sector and as well as the community service, and a lot of sector available where you can fit without any experience. And this also, they always encourage the student and who have a very academic background, very good academic background, but they are happy to take this kind of fresh graduate for their different role. As well as I see some renowned companies, suppose the Emerson, but if they are a giant company in the power sector, they always encourage the fresh graduate, but you need to have the certain level of work visa, work permit as well here to work in Australia. But for the temporary work, suppose if you are allowed to work 20 hours or 22 hours or 18 hours as per the limitation from the student visa, so you may work in the retail sector as well as in the other marketing sector, and even you can work in the college as well, part-time in the college sector as well. So I think it may help a little bit.
Anyone wants to add something, please?
I can give you some, my recent experience I had with one of the PhD students recently completed their PhD, and in Australia have been some going through some difficulties getting job and frustrated because of some reasons, and he reached out to me. At that time, we were recruiting some new engineer in Mastercard. So basically, again, I'm part of the network engineering team. So he's approaching me whether he is, I mean, we are open to for him as a fresh. So what I have suggested him, he has done his PhD in different discipline. I asked him, or I told him whether he is okay to switch his career, and what does he want to see himself probably in next 5-10 years time. He has, invested all of his time, energy last maybe 20 years or so in one particular discipline, and suddenly switching the career, will he be happy with his career after switching that? So all these questions and things, he took his time, and I provided him suggestion whether, even though I didn't have any idea the field that he wants or looking for the job, I'd give him some tips, and I think within a couple of months he got a two offer, and one of them he accepted, and he has migrated to another state. So I'm not mentioning anyone's name. So regarding the question from the Elias Mullah, so what I'm saying is you have to decide what you want to do. You have completed your PhD, and which is kind of superior degree in your career. So what you want to do, you have to decide, and then based on your career, you have to make up your mind, and then you can, if you're good at that particular, I'm sure you can get a job. I'm not, or I won't be able to advise anything about the visa or the immigration thing. However, I'm strongly believe that if you are good at what you are doing or what you would like to do, obviously there will be an opportunity. Whether you are fresh or you have a experience of 20 years, doesn't make any difference. Only your willingness would be the key here. That's my message for the whoever is want to get a fresh start, or want to advance their career. The message is unique. Your interest is the key here to continue your job.
Thank you, Hassan Arman Bhai. So often I have questions from the side. So if anyone wants to switch their career as well, so probably he needs to sometimes start from the fresh. So your answer was pretty much elaborative. Probably it will help the future PhD student as well. So what I can see from my guest list, that I can see some of the very senior overseas international member of our CUETians, Barik Bhai and Alamin Bhai. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I can see that you are Alamin Bhai and Barik Bhai is here. Please welcome. And yeah, please feel free to reach out me if you have any question. But I have already one question, another question from the live, which is sent by the Hassan Ziad Bhai. It's share your experience why Bangladeshi Australian engineers face difficulty to become associate or team leader or director or managerial level in their own arena. It's probably he's looking for a bit progression. That's why it's so difficult, and how to improve the skills of the leadership, self-development, probably just trying to be a pioneer. If anyone wants to answer that one.
So inherently we have one difficulties is our English capability, regardless whether we have done what certification or what degree we have achieved. English is our the key weakness. And second is the culture. So many times I have seen many of my colleagues, they have not adapted the culture that Australians follow. So for example, if you want to be a manager or team leader, you need to understand the culture of the company. You need to understand how the company runs, and how you need to know mix with the different people from different background and different disciplines here. So you have to work with the department like accounts department. You have to work the say, for example, compliance. You have to work with the many other legal, all these things, different people, different that you need to know and you need to learn the technique how to manage them. First thing, this is one thing. Second thing is your contribution to the team, how you are going to contribute to the team and how you're going to manage, or how you're going to contribute. For if you become a team leader, probably there will be at least 4 to 5 people under you, and you need to know how to you mentor and how you're going to add value for the organization. So if you can add value for the organization will choose you to become a leader or manager. You don't have to pursue, or you don't have to run to become a leader. So that's the, I mean, skill that you have to learn, or benefit that you have to highlight to the organization. That's my suggestion. So in my case, I can give you my example. Is I'm a manager because I have a team member which I coaching. I mean, I mentor them. I do the coaching. I do the kind of coordination with the many leaders across the globe. So it's not based on the Australia, the skills, how we're managing the other people across the globe. It could be from US or it could become the UK. So depending on the coordination with all these people, they have decided to me as a kind of, I don't see this is a manager role, it's more coordination. So if you can do a good coordination, you could be a good candidate to become a manager.
Thank you, Hassan Bhai. Thank you, Hassan Bhai, for your explanation. I believe managing people is very challenging from different language and background.
I think, Mahbub, I just want to add a few things. I think most of us, we know that. I think the leadership capability is different skill set, right? As Hassan Arman said. So it's not true that, Bangladeshi engineers or Bangladeshi graduates are not going to the top level jobs, but it is some of us also go to the top level job. I just want to give you an example. So in Australia, there's a good university, well, one of the top University of Western Australia, and the vice chancellor of that university is a Bangladeshi person. He is Professor Omid Chakma. So he is managing really 50,000 people, and maybe 2,000 academics, maybe 4,000 professionals, and over 30,000 students, including bachelor student, master student, PhD student. So he's the vice chancellor or CEO of that university. So it is his leadership capability which took him up to that level. He was actually president or vice chancellor, whatever to say, in Canada for the last 10 years, University of Western, which is Western Ontario. So, and one of the things that I want to share with you, as Hassan Arman said, English. So President Ford was president of the United States. I tell it many times to people. So he said, if he could go back to the time, that means if he had a time machine, then he would have learned two things. One is capability to speak. The other one is capability to write. So these are the two skills that's very important for managers. Whatever managerial role that you ask for, you need to really convince people. You need to tell people that what you want, and you need to write it. So, and that's the message I give you. That's sort of not my expression. Is the President Ford, who was the president of United States of America. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Niyaz Bhai, for your.
May I add something, Mahbub, if you give me a chance?
Sure. Go ahead.
Really nicely explained by the Niyaz Bhai as well as Arman Bhai. So I do agree with the Niyaz Bhai, because there are a lot of Bengali people as well as Australian people actually leading. We have some in sort of case. Suppose Arman Bhai is leading as a team, one team, and our President Niyaz Bhai, he is running a very big university, and his department has a lot of students as well. And we have more other CUETians. Suppose we have Ashim Kumada, he is also team leader in the Ericsson operation. So what actually in the team leading role that Niyaz already told that you have to speak with with the audience, and you have to have the skill to convince the people, manage the people. And the leadership skill is very unique, and this is a basic difference with the engineering skill and the leadership skill, and it makes a very big difference as an engineer and as a big team leader. So when you have a communication skill, when you have a leadership skill, you become a manager. But you have only technical skill, you can be only the engineer. Suppose I can give you an example for myself. What I have been doing back in Bangladesh, the operation manager for the data center in the Bikash, and the same role I have got in Australia after within the 5.5 months. So how did it happen? So another thing I want to consider and I want to add actually, whenever you think or whenever you design your career, whenever you think about your career, think global. Think about whenever I was doing my job in the back in Bangladesh, I always thinking how it is actually happening around the world, not in the Bangladesh. Because most of the company I worked in the multinational company, I always research what is happening in the Latin America, what is happening in the Australia, and this is actually helped me to get same level job back in the Australia within the 5.5 months. So actually, our thinking and our actually aiming to do the things that also help to get the leadership and managerial job in different aspects. Thanks.
Thank you, Shabu. I want to add something with those questions as like leadership and the managerial thing. I want to add more. So, what would be it's an open question for us, like all of the panels. So, what would be your suggestion if wants to go for the entrepreneurship? Because like after doing some professional year in Australia, some people may have the dream to have their own farm. Sometimes the engineers have them when they just go for the undergraduate. Someday they will have their own farm. They will be managing the projects. They will get something. Yeah. So what with your suggestion for the entrepreneurship and or like their starting their own business, that how they can penetrate that this market, get more contract and get their own farm here in Australia? Open for all. This question from my side actually.
I'll try to contribute something in this one. Actually, to get into the business, actually, you need to have a couple of years experience and have the contract, and people need to have confidence or reliability on you, so that then you will be able to have the jobs or projects or contracts. Without this one, actually, it's hard. Actually, if I know there's some of CUETians has got their like company registration or insurance and whatever they have the setup, but without having the proper few years experience in the market, and you have to have a specialization. Say, for example, if I want to give HVAC consultancy service, like the design service, I need to have a couple of years experience, and also I need to understand what level of complicated job I can handle. So this is very important. And when I do the marketing, I give the reference of the job previously I have done. Say, for example, how much $1 million value job I have done before. Say, for example, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, whatever it is, so that confidently people can give me $50,000 project value job. They will be saying it's a piece of cake for him to do a $50,000, $100,000 job, because he have done a shopping center before or university block design block before. So actually, from my experience, I can say this is the actually should be the business strategy.
I think Mahbub, but just not to contribute. I we discussed about having a separate session on entrepreneurships, and we have quite a few entrepreneurs, not may not be from CUETian, but from CUETians and others. So we thought of having a session, or at least part of a session. We'll invite quite a few in the future if there is significant interest on this aspect. If we all want to know, then I think I'll request Shabu to keep it in mind, and then invite few entrepreneurs who became successful within a short period of time in Australia or elsewhere. So Shabu, please, if you can note it down, and then we'll think about that, because we need to really invite real entrepreneurs to tell us their journey, so that we can learn from that. I know Reza started business, and he will be able to contribute more, but I guess we need a separate session. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Niyaz bhai.
Yeah, we'll definitely do this. We can organize a session for this particular topic, and it's a very elaborative one. Thanks.
Oh, I think someone would like to join. Oh, okay. So I have one like a suggestion from Sumaya Apu. Probably she wants to add something for the women in engineering. Sumaya Apu, are you here? So you expressed your interest to say something about that.
Hi. Yes, I would like to add a few words to search job as a woman engineer. Like, um, I know as a woman we have few more constraint, or not necessarily more, different constraint than other engineers. That in my experience, I would like to share those ones, how we can overcome those. One of the thing is our job domain. Sometimes, as Reza bhai mentioned, that we can consider relocation. Sometimes for a woman, it's not an option at all to consider relocation. Even consider someone little bit far from home, it's different. Like, it's not an option. It's not we can think about, because we don't have option if we have kids. So those kind of things. And also I would like to say that don't dishearten that your opportunity is not there. Your opportunity is here. Keep looking. um, be consistent while looking for job. That consistency is the key. While looking for job, be consistent. In your area, in your comfort domain, the job is here. You just don't take rest for one day. The day you rest might have that job available in the market. So that's one thing. Another thing I wanted to add is time management. As a woman, I think we have to manage our time differently and more efficiently, especially we have kids. So these are the two, consistency and time management. You have to manage your time with all the responsibility as a mom or as a partner. You have to manage those time. And on top of that, you have to grow your career. It's for everyone. I won't say that the man doesn't have any responsibility, but everyone has responsibility. But this sometimes can make, like, we can think that, oh, I don't have time, I have more constraint. But if you manage your time, if you try to manage your time, I think you will get your fair share of opportunity as well. I just wanted to encourage everyone, don't get disheartened. Even if you have constraint, keep trying, keep consistent. You will get your chance as well. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumaya Apu. There is another question from Farid Bhai. I think it's been answered by Reza Bhai here. Is regarding the maintenance reliability professionals. I think Reza Bhai already answered that one. So, like, yeah, due to the time constraint, we'll have to pack up our session here. So I know those topics are pretty much elaborate and needs like more time to answer, but like we just tried to introduce this career path and how to introduce that one. And like probably if someone is interested, please feel free to reach out to our executive committee, and we will have a session to our mentor so that you can get more insight or details pathway that how you can, if you want to switch or if you want to start your career here, then how you can do that. So from here, I would like to conclude this session, and like for concluding remarks, I would like to invite our president, Niyaz Bhai, to say something and like finish this session. Please, Niyaz Bhai, over to you.
Thank you, Mahbub. Yes, it's quite late right now, and we need to go for Maghrib prayers. But let me start at the beginning. Thank you, everyone, for participating, for listening, and for contributing. At the beginning, I told you that this is part of a series of a career session that we intend to organize, or that we plan to organize. And today is the second of the series. And if you have any suggestion and any need for other topics, then we are happy and will be happy to organize those presentations. I'm quite sure that we have learned quite a lot from our 4 experienced presenter. They are successful in their own field, and they contributed to their journey, their experience, and also we received their valuable suggestions, and I'm quite sure which will be helpful for all of us, and I have learned quite a lot from that. And let me personally thank them and personally say I'm indebted to you, the 4 presenters, especially for your time, effort, and I know that making presentation is a daunting task, and presenting it and then answering question takes lots of preparation, and your dedication, your effort, and I'm indebted to you. Thank you very much. And as I said, it's not only listening. Sometimes we listen, we get encouraged, but we need to practice. As Sumaya said, we need to really apply for a job constantly. Similarly, if we want to learn a new skills, say suppose leadership skills, then there are lots of resources over there. We need to listen to them and practice them in our lives, and then we grow. So hopefully the information that we got, the suggestions that we received, we should be able to reflect and see whether we can bring any changes in our daily lives, or any change in our searching for jobs or career progression. And thank you all for participating.